Hey there, thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Spiritual Scientist. I'm Victor. Thanks for checking me out. So, I'm not sure what I'm going to talk to you about, but I had a couple things I was thinking of, so here goes, and let's see what pops out of my mouth. So, I think Muhammad had the right way of it when he told people, don't take my picture. He said, don't have any drawings of me, no pictures. I just wanted to be the Word of God. So he was saying, in essence, that he didn't want to be it to be worshipped about him. He wanted it to be about people in themselves, and what he was saying is the message, not the messenger, right? So I think that's super important. For myself, I try not to make a lot of videos, and even though I somewhat promote myself, it's not about me. So that's in essence something I was just thinking of. And then it's very difficult for a lot of people to in a spiritual sense to talk about themselves, but I think it's important to come from yourself. So how to be yourself when you're not talking about yourself or acknowledging yourself can be a difficult kind of situation, right? Especially for someone trying to come from a spiritual perspective. I think the way around it, a lot of what Jesus did is talked about parables, and I think that's a good way to do a lot of things. So I'm going to try to talk to you in parable form sometimes, but I just thought I'd talk about the essence of coming from your authentic self. So it's important, I think I'm finding out now too, to not just tell the truth, but to tell you where it's coming from and perspective. So a lot of people get the perspectives confused. And so in essence, that can be, confusing in itself. So you got the message, but where's the messenger coming from? What's he saying? And that can be, in essence, somewhat confusing as well. So I think that's something interesting as well. So if you're coming from your authentic self, where you want to make sure that your message is authentic and you're coming from your authentic self. But it's like with Jim Carrey. I just watched a video about Jim Carrey the other day, and he was saying that he was playing a character when he was playing Jim Carrey out in public. Obviously, everybody's not so silly all the time. I've seen interviews where he's hilarious, but maybe he's not feeling actually that silly, but he's playing a character. So, we want to make sure that we're not playing characters. We want to be on our authentic self. The other aspect of it is about being an avatar. So being an avatar, what an avatar is being a facsimile, stepping into the role of something else or for a higher power, and everybody wants to communicate and say, hey, I'm doing this as a son or daughter of God. But when we're negating our will for what we think we're doing the right thing, you want to make sure you're doing the right thing, and then and then we want to make sure that besides stepping out of yourself in a way, you want to make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. So it can be very confusing for a lot of people, and they take shortcuts. So a lot of people take shortcuts. So they latch onto agendas. So a lot of people that I've found, even in the spiritual community or truther community, as it were, they'll latch on to one aspect of it where they feel safe. Like, for instance, they feel safe about talking about, the evilness of what's going into things at the supermarket. And they'll just concentrate on, bad ingredients and things like that, because they feel safe and they feel, they do the research on that one aspect, and that's what they feel comfortable with, and they think that that's what they can talk about, and that's pretty much it. So people narrowly define themselves in certain genres, in certain aspects of reality, when in actuality everybody's a broad spectrum of being, but and people see them in a limited perspective. The unfortunate aspect of it is, for a lot of people, the lie becomes a truth, so then they limit themselves in their own limiting factor. And for a lot of people, they latch on to agendas or certain things, let's say climate change and everything else, where they're latching on to these kind of ideologies instead of coming from, and again, your authentic self. And how do you find, your authentic self? How do you find the aspect of who really you are, and what is your real message that you want to convey out there to the world? If you feel like you should be conveying a message, not everybody has to feel like they want to convey a message. One of the things that I say, and I try to say it all the time, is being authentic in yourself, in what you do, and telling the truth. That's how, awareness and higher vibrational frequencies, how good things, basically, is what I'm saying, how that flows to others, right? So if you're being who you really are in that moment, other people are going to feel more authentic and say, what they feel. And if they're not being authentic, they're going to stand out. And then you'll see, hey, that person's lying. So that's how come, a lot of people can tell the truth and the lies. But what I've been saying is meditation is one way, an aspect of learning how to be your authentic self. Praying, finding out, looking inward. These are all the key things that we find within each other and within ourselves. We have to be our authentic self and telling the truth. All these kind of small things lead up to understanding your role in the universe and what you should be doing right now. So the message for today is being your authentic self, but understanding your role in this reality. And it could be, listen, I know people that just go to restaurants and they wash dishes, but then, and I have to say, like, they're in a situation where that's maybe they want to be better themselves, but they're comfortable in that role, and that's just what they want to do, and that's it. And then, of course, there's limiting things, about them that they haven't confronted, and that's why they are in that kind of a situation all the time. Other people, if you're not looking at the negative aspects of yourself and acknowledging them and figuring out how to not do that, and all those kind of things factor into it as well. So this is just me kind of turning on the camera and giving you a couple ideas while I drive to work about being your authentic self and what it is for your role in this world that we live in. And you only have one life, so you might as well live it. A lot of people are waiting for things. You're waiting for something to happen. Now is the time. So now give yourself permission to do the right thing and be, your authentic self. Within that, be cognizant of other people's feelings. You don't want to just yell at somebody, I hate you. We have to, with meditation, we find out that loving aspect and how to really forgive ourselves from drifting off when we don't meditate correctly, and keep forgiving ourselves and each other. Thanks so much for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share. Hope you're having a great day. Bye-bye.